We have today Rob McCowan from Focused West Management. And Rob, I'm just going to ask you a few questions today. How did your passion evolve for helping food brands find success getting into retail environments?
Oh, that's a great question. I didn't know that would be your first question. I had a passion for sales, and I think maybe a skill for sales that I learned when I was at university. It led me to a company that was in food sales, doing some interesting products in deli departments, a lot of potential. And that road just kind of took me on my 30-year journey through the food industry.
Cool. All right. What are you currently most passionate about in the food industry?
I would say I do a number of things. The most interesting thing to me is talking to small food processors, because I just understand a lot about their challenges, where they're trying to go. There are so many opportunities for them. There are so many opportunities to make great decisions. And sometimes I see things and ask questions that challenge them to look at what they're doing another way and maybe benefit from that.
So what is the number one piece of advice you found yourself giving to those clients more and more over your career?
Oh, another good question. One piece of advice. A lot of small food processors are at a different stage along the way. They are looking for the value in a broker or distributor or having sales representation, and what the costs are and the benefits. And I think the most value I bring is explaining the difference between selling at a farmer's market or at local small independents versus when you start to get out into larger markets, and where all those layers of costs come in, and how the small producer can plan for their pricing structure on their products to be successful.
Awesome. Yeah, a lot of unknowns there, I think, for several people. Rob, do you have a career motto for yourself?
Oh, okay. You're asking some tough questions here. A career motto? Well, I can tell you that honesty, integrity have always been number one. The relationships I have with the grocery industry and with suppliers isn't kind of a one-off sales interaction. It's long-term. And I've always thought, success in my career, in my life, would be if somebody met my children as adults later in life and had great things to say about me and our business relationship, and integrity and honesty along the way.
I love that. You've been in the food sales sector for many decades. Over that time, are there any standout moments where the industry went through a major shift?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think we're going through one right now with all the fears of tariffs. That impacts a lot of companies. There's a great opportunity for Canadian companies right now, and local, and grocery stores and retailers and restaurants are supporting that. I think going through COVID was a great challenge. The interactions between food producers, salespeople, brokers, people in offices, all got reduced. Everybody was staying at home. That was a big change in the industry. And I would say, going back a little bit further, there's kind of been a movement, maybe since the year 2000, with a lot of Food Network shows where people have learned how to cook better, more interesting meals. I won't say cook better, but there's been a lot more variety and a lot more information, and people taking an interest in buying interesting ingredients and making different kinds of foods at home. And I think Food Networks and magazine articles and everything have kind of led to that new revolution.
Yes, we absolutely are on an evolution. Based on what you just mentioned about tariffs, do you want to take a crack at any predictions that might be coming over the next decade?
Okay, a decade. I would say a couple things. I think that there will be some long-term benefit to really rallying Canadian consumers around buying Canadian, supporting Canadian companies. And really, it's woken everybody up to looking at where their products and their food comes from, and what part of their meals that is, that we can buy local. Predictions for what's going to happen over the next decade. I think that trend will continue to a degree. It may taper off a little bit as time goes on. Things change, and people will go back to the patterns they had before, buying citrus from the US, not looking at labels. But I think the trend for people looking at labels, looking at ingredients, nutrition, where their products come from, if it's local, and benefits are very important. And I've always said, for Canadian small producers, it's all about your story. If you have a story that's terrific that you can relay to consumers, they like to support good stories.